see that, Tiff. Joel, Joel, how was your weekend, buddy? Joel, what do you think about the new Batman? How about the new Superman book? You know, Green Arrow's the worst thing coming out of DC ever. It is atrocious. Only, like, basement-dwelling losers would read Green Arrow. It's so bad. Unless somebody speaks up, the audience will just believe that Green Arrow is the worst thing in existence.
Not gonna bait me.
Oh, shut up, Joel, and welcome to the weekly poll.
That was good. This is our bit we're working on. This is our stage routine.
Yeah. Not since Fozzie the Bear and the Snowman have we seen
Welcome.
team up.
Welcome, everyone, to another... Hold on. Hold on.
All right.
How are you all doing today? Welcome to another episode of the Weekly Poll!
Woo!
Thank you.
That's a hell of an intro.
Right?
Thank you, Benny, the Ayatollah of rock and roll.
But yeah, let's jump into it, shall we? We got a slew of topics to talk about today. The first one of which is that we are not.
The Weekly Poll is canceled.
Yeah, we're not canceled. Fantastic Four books were canceled, as we all know. But we got some confirmation from Hickman about why that was the case. It's basically we all know, but like Hickman confirmed it for us. But get into it, Joel.
An official person finally said, yes, the worst kept secret in comics is actually true, and that is that Marvel canceled all future Fantastic Four books out of spite for Fox and everything they were doing. There was a big back and forth on Twitter that ended with Jonathan Hickman essentially saying, yeah, they came to us and said after 2015, no more Fantastic Four books, and it's 2017 now, and yeah, that was true.
Yeah, totally called it. I mean, we know that, but it's fun to get information or to get like confirmation about something that you kind of like suspected the entire time. It's like getting confirmation from Johns about like Dr. Manhattan actually being responsible for everything. Like,
it's just one of those like worst kept secrets in comic books ever.
Yeah.
Why are the X-Men getting abused? Because Fox owns them. No, that's not it.
Yeah. No, people were defending it just because like there was no official word, and it's interesting because it demonstrates like the power of the official cover story from the source. Like Marvel should have had a thing ready to go, but they didn't, and so speculation ran rampant. And now the only person that we have like actually confirming it is a person who doesn't work at Marvel anymore, and probably never will.
Yeah.
Well, half the people that worked at Marvel when it was good don't work at Marvel anymore. Everyone likes to be like, oh, the new social diversity and all this other stuff. Those books are shit. No, all the good writers left.
Yeah. No, it's just like a lot of people who are changing things or really like turning the series, like their series on their ears, just took off.
Now that being
all
said,
the best writers are now at DC. Everyone's like, why is DC killing it? Because they got the good writers.
Yeah, who'd have thought that?
Well, they have all the seasoned writers. Marvel's doing some experiments now with a lot of younger talenteds, like Donny Cates is coming in now, and you got Matthew Rosenberg. People who I feel may be pretty good in the future, but they're still green.
Yeah.
And they have a couple of old timers. Mark Waid is still working there. He's plugging away at like the Champions, and I think he's still doing the Avengers. I don't know. I haven't read it in a while because it's not a very good book.
Hold on, Sal.
Avengers.
Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah.
Splooge.
Oh, shit.
Blockbuster has subscribed for 8 months in a row, and I have to fill in for Rob because Rob's still not here.
That's right.
Yes. Thank you.
If you're all wondering what happened to Rob is coming back. Rob decided to disassemble all his computers today. So most of my day has been filled with text messages of, okay, I got it working. Okay, it's not posting. Okay, the hard drive's not working. Okay, I need a new hard drive. Okay, I bought like 5 hard drives. Okay, I installed one of them.
Then you get a text message that says, I just got my phone back out of the computer after I closed it back up. And
funny side story, Rob is notorious for leaving his phone in his car.
He's notorious for leaving his stuff
that
everywhere.
doesn't surprise me at all.
Now that Rob lives here, I've discovered how scatterbrained he really is.
But hang on, we got another splooge here because Runners just subscribed with Twitch Prime.
Splooge.
Nice.
Splooge.
Now, in terms of the Fantastic Four, though, and Marvel, I think what this scares me the most about is the confirmation just says, like, hey, yeah, we over at Marvel are so petty that we are not going to worry about telling good stories. We just want our stuff back.
Yeah. Like
we're
holding...
they're so not worried about good stories. I mean, I hate to like fall into that whole like the gravy train of everyone being like Marvel's trying to push diversity and blah blah blah. But I honest to God feel like half the books are literally politically driven and they're all having agendas. Like there's still some books out there that are like, oh, this is a pretty good book, and why did you have to make a panel about that? But whatever, the book itself's a good story. But there's so many of them out there now that I just stopped reading half of my Marvel load. I literally go through every Wednesday morning now, and I'm like, does it say Secret Empire on it? No.
Right.
Okay, we're not going to get that one.
Well, I mean, a lot of Marvel stories have always been, driven by what's happening in the world. I mean, come on, just look at the X-Men, look at classic Captain America.
That's the most
story.
bullshit excuse ever. Okay, the X-Men in the goddamn 90s being like, oh, they're being pushed to the side. That's a great superhero story where they fight giant robots and they still manage to tell a good story. A story in which the champions sit on the police station and go, okay, you guys can do it yourselves. That is not on par with the X-Men fighting giant robots and the people being against them.
But it's also like, it's not out of left field. Like I've seen different comics trying something new, and in the only direction the champions could go in is like, because they're like, okay, we're a counter response to the Avengers. The Avengers are proactive, they do stuff. The champions, by virtue of the fact they want to be proactive and also be like anti-Avengers, they have to not do stuff. The problem with that is it's boring. Like, I don't even care about
we have like two cohorts of the Marvel fan base right now. We have the idiots that look for anything that anyone says to make a rage topic out of. Half the time they're raging about shit that I'm like, you just read into the biggest fucking bullshit I've ever fucking seen. Half the shit you just said, you're just making up because you want goddamn views. But then the other half of the shit, I'm like, that is a valid point. That makes sense. And then you have the people that are trying to defend Marvel. They're like, well, Marvel's always been political, guys. Don't worry. The X-Men did it. No, there's a difference between having a superhero story that is revolved around the same concept as people being, racist and stuff like that, and a story about Captain America chatting with everyone because now he's evil and there's no need to punch. Right? Well, no, you gotta fucking punch. It's a goddamn superhero.
Should I show you Snake Reagan from the copy of that famous cover of U.S. Agent where Reagan is literally a snake?
And that's perfectly fine. But did they not have superhero battles and superhero moments in those stories? You integrate your political movement into a superhero story. You don't make a political movement and then throw a superhero into it. This is the wrong media for that.
I disagree, but all right.
I don't know if they even do that. Like, I mean, honestly, like I'm only reading the main Secret Empire book. I didn't want to read any of the Captain America stuff because, number one, Captain America's not my favorite character. Number two, if you're going to give me... If Cap's not my favorite character, then two Captain Americas is going to make it better.
I know. Doubling down is not the answer.
Exactly. And, like, I've read a lot of Nick Spencer books, and I'm like, this is fine. Like, this is fine, but it's not the Second Coming, and I can't, like, get into it. So the only book that I am reading that's Secret Empire related is Secret Empire. And I think they're doing a decent job of balancing like action and politically motivated rhetoric, I guess, if that's what you want to call it.
They toned it down a lot in the last couple issues where, the main Cap book was supercharged.
I have no idea like what the original Secret Empire looked like, but I can tell you it was definitely 3 issues shorter and it probably had a lot less Red Skull in it.
Yeah, probably.
For me, I feel like I feel like the problem for Secret Empire is that we've gone for like 2-3 years of the whole Cap Hydra thing, and we still have no resolution. And now that we're finally have the actual story, where I was expecting there to be a battle of Captain America taking over America, people fighting against him, 90% of it is still goddamn talking about the plan. The plan, and every issue is set up like a goddamn Game of Thrones episode where it's going to be like, oh, nothing's happening, nothing. Oh, look, you get a panel of a fight and cliffhanger.
Yeah, no,
God,
that's
fucking damn.
That's called padding, which of course is a mainstay of comics in general. Like that's just them being like, well, maybe we're not ready for Legacy yet, so we need to have this damn event go on another.
Oh God, don't even get me fucking started on Generations.
Oh
like
my
I
God.
try to be the most positive guy in the goddamn weekly poll, and I read that banner issue, and I'm like, fucking, what the fuck is this?
I read it as well. I was like, wow, this is boring.
Its biggest problem is it had no beginning and no resolution because we have no framing device for how we got into it.
It came out of nowhere. You know that there was like an afterthought. This generation where it's like literally in the middle of Secret Empire, they disappear, go on a flashback adventure, and then go home, and you're like, okay.
Nothing happened. Like, there was no resolution, no story, no nothing. It was Amadeus Cho going, yo, Banner, dude, I'm super smart. Let me help you. And Banner being like, no, the Hulk is a curse. You need to understand that. And then Joe going, okay, and we're back.
The joke is most of these people all have met each other already.
Yeah.
Like Joe and Banner worked together.
Yeah.
Banner was Joe's like
protege.
mentor.
Yeah,
one of my favorite comics in Totally Awesome Hulk was that discussion that Banner and Joe had, in which Banner was playing Minecraft, and they had that whole discussion. The only difference was we didn't have Hulk meet Totally Awesome Hulk.
Right.
We had
they didn't
Joe
both Hulk out
Banner.
though, which
Yeah,
arguably is kind
Banner.
of what you're looking for. Like you do want to see Hulks and them fighting stuff.
Okay.
But
hang on, I'm going to try to pull this back, guys, because we've gotten so far away from
Indeed.
Hickman's
Thank
admission that the Fantastic Four was canceled by Marvel because of Fox.
Yeah, that sucks. That sucks, and it means that like the keys to the kingdom don't belong to the people who are supposed to be running it. Like it means that it's like it's all bullshit.
Yeah, it seems like it's decisions are being motivated mostly by money, which I mean, it's a business. We all know that. We've talked about that before. But also probably just due to pride.
It's mostly pride, because like it's not like the Fantastic Four resulted in a huge wellspring of revenue for Marvel.
Right. That's what I was going to bring up. Like, you know what? It honestly doesn't matter if Marvel canceled it because of that, because no one was really reading Fantastic Four. It was one of the lowest selling books, and that's partially because we've had so few good stories with them. They always get like the shit end of the stick when it comes to writers for the most part, unless you're doing like Hickman's run or something like that. But they're so up and down. They don't have 5 books. They're not a Spider-Man title, you know?
Well, that's the thing about the Fantastic Four, is that like they entered a new renaissance when Hickman was running it, and we never got to find out where they were going to end up. Like Hickman elevating them to the place that they were and creating like that whole new element of them with the Future Foundation and everything. Like, where was that going to go? Where could that have been taken by better writers, or not better writers, but equally decent writers? Like when Hickman was done, he would have ostensibly passed the baton to someone worthy of the next run, or hopefully somebody who was like hungry to tell a damn good Fantastic Four story. We were finally entering into a new era of great Fantastic Four stories, hopefully. I mean, like I think of like Daredevil and how it's like, how can you top Brubaker? Like, apparently all you need to do is give it to a really, really good writer. Like, how can you top Bendis? How can you top Frank Miller? How can you top like Mark Waid? All these runs are so great, and it's like, even though the Fantastic Four haven't been selling well, it doesn't mean that they weren't telling good stories. I mean, like Mark Waid did a good run. Straczynski did a fun run. It's when they don't know what they are or what they want to do, and when they're kind of afraid to change it, that it really becomes stagnating. And Hickman was doing something good with it. I think also like Hickman.
But nobody was reading it. That's honestly what it comes down to, because yeah, fine. Marvel finally probably said, hey, the sales are low, we're going to cancel it. But Spider-Man's still around. So is X-Men. As much as they have fucked with X-Men and tried to make people not care, they have not canceled the X-Men outright.
I think that's just, and that is literally just dollars. Like that's just, Fantastic Four doesn't consistently sell as well as most of these other books. Right. I mean, they're never going to cancel Spider-Man because Spider-Man sells. We just had a conversation about Batman. You could do this exact same thing about Spider-Man, where it's just like, Spider-Man will always sell, and he'll always be a consistently top-selling Marvel book. It doesn't even matter if the books are bad; they will still sell the same.
Oh yeah. As much as I love the Spider-Man books, I mean, and as much as I'm probably like one of the few people in the world that's still like, Dan Slott's got some good stuff. Dan Slott also has some shitty stuff, but it doesn't matter. That book still sells,
and
because people will buy it to bitch, then they'll buy it to love it. I mean, that's just what's going to happen.
I'm not even saying that they're bad. Like my opinion is notwithstanding. I'm just saying there have been some bad runs, and excluding Dan Slott, I can still say the sentence with complete honesty. There have been some bad runs on Spider-Man. And that's going to
happen when you have like 3 to 5 books happening at the exact same time from different writers, and you just never let Spider-Man take a break. You're going to have shit runs.
Well, I mean, even if remember when it was just one book, when it was just Amazing Spider-Man, and like that still sold like gangbusters. It was just, and in that case, probably everyone who was going to run, everybody who was buying those extra books were buying Amazing as well. Anyway, point being, Spider-Man sells consistently. Fantastic Four didn't, but X-Men does. And so even if X-Men are like crappy, people are still going to buy X-Men. We got lifers in the X-Men. Fantastic Four, for the most part, it's an older brand. It's an older response. I mean, it's about a family. It's at the core of it. Like if you want to read about families, you're probably, you might read Fantastic Four, but I don't know.
Or Superman now, as the case may be.
Now, but Spider-Man, Renew Your Vows.
I'm not liking those latest issues. Family vacation.
That I was like, we were going someplace, and then we went on vacation. I'm like,
exactly.
Well, hang on. Let's not get into that. Does anyone have any final thoughts on just the general announcement from Hickman, the confirmation of something that none of us wanted to necessarily
It doesn't matter.
But
That's exactly what the confirmation is. It doesn't matter if Fox handled it for any reason. Now let's talk about Superman's family vacation.
No!
Who wants to go see America?
I'll say it sucks. Like it sucks.
Joel?
It's not great news. It's spiteful, but we always knew it was. So.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
In all honesty, for all we know, it still could maybe not have even been canceled because of the movie. It may have just been Hickman was on the book, knew what was going on, sales went down, they canceled the book, and hey, that's conveniently right around this, and Hickman just feels like he's going to be salty.
Yeah, I mean, has Hickman written anything since Fantastic Four?
I don't think so.
I mean, you got to think Hickman in general is salty with Marvel right now.
Oh yeah.
What better way to start more fires than be like, oh no, it's exactly what happened.
Yeah, they're a bunch of corporate shills.
It's funny, you know who didn't speak up during this whole time? James Robinson, the guy who was writing Fantastic Four when it got canceled. People forget that he had like a kneecapped 15-issue run with red costumes.
Oh God, yeah, that was a much maligned run. I did not care for those costumes.
They went into like an alternate universe, and it was weird.
Was that when Johnny Storm died?
Yes.
All right, ironically, guys, you are proving that people want to talk about the Fantastic Four simply by not letting this topic go. But I think we should move on to the next one. What else we got?
Superman's vacation. So what the fuck is happening? Where's Mr. Oz?
I don't know.
Like Superman's great story. We're gonna see Mr. Oz. But first, we need to go check out the America's Independence.
That's right. Yeah. But Joel.
Oh, man, so this one's a freaking heartbreaker right here. Anyone who knows me and has followed
I know, it's so sad that Superman's on vacation. What the fuck, Joel?
I know, right? It felt like a bad episode of the Magic School Bus. But yeah, okay, so Milestone, right? The home of, Static and Icon and Rocket and all these other characters. We were wondering forever, hey, DC's got all these new imprints. When the hell are they going to finally give a Milestone imprint? And we heard
that's what Superman's doing. He's on vacation to go to the Milestone universe. I mean, that's what's happening right now.
That's why. Man, if it ended like that, everything
There's no way. Because we've talked about this a number of times, the fact that like Joel has always been asking where's Milestone, and I always tell him like it's because someone doesn't want to pay somebody else. It's DC doesn't want to pay someone royalties. And
that's exactly what it is. I did all the research, made a video on this. DC doesn't want to pay the royalties because the fact is the Milestone characters, while they sell, do not sell well enough to warrant actual runs and paying royalties. That's exact. They have a long-standing deal with Milestone. And the deal is, as long as they keep using the characters, Milestone is not allowed to go elsewhere. And the fact of the matter is, they're not selling well enough for DC to constantly put Static into something.
Yeah,
but they are selling well enough to keep them.
And here's the thing. This took on a whole new dimension because at San Diego Comic-Con, Reggie Hudlin and Jim Lee and one of the other co-presidents of Milestone back in the day said, hey, it's all right. We're coming out with a new imprint finally. We're giving you everything you wanted. Then the next day, Dwayne McDuffie's widow came out and said, what the fuck? No one told me about this. I'm the executor of his estate. I own 50% of Milestone. No one told me you were doing this. I will see you in court.
Right. It's weird because, like, this is one of the few times when a creator's estate actually is alive and can, like, do something about it. Like,
McDuffie only died, like, 3-4 years ago, right? Or 5 years.
He hasn't been dead for long.
No, but I mean, like, the most recent example we have of this is like the Siegels and the Schusters and like the whole Superboy Superman thing, and like how
and the Kirbys
and how like every year you would hear another lawsuit is coming out about this, that, and the other thing, and it's like, when is it just going to be over? If she wants more money,
it'll be over, Sal, when Superman finishes his vacation.
I hope so. I will say the next issue of Action Comics will feature Mr. Oz, and we'll start the surprise or the reveal of who Mr.
I know.
Oz
Oh, dude, I can't wait for that. I'm so excited.
I think that's tomorrow. So
it is, yeah.
Well,
is it tomorrow? Was the Independence thing only 2 issues?
Yeah.
Well, that's on Superman. That's on Adjectiveless. On Action Comics.
I lose track. They're the exact same story half the time.
Yeah. But yeah, so this is a depressing story. It means, hey, for everyone who wanted new Milestone stories,
it's not going to happen.
You're going to have to wait until this litigation is over, and it might not be over because DC was totally in the wrong here trying to fuck over a widow. And also, too, this widow is not a nobody. She is a well-known creative in her own right. She helped Dwayne McDuffie develop a number of projects, including Ben 10 and a bunch of other stuff when he was still alive.
No, it's just you just need to. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was gonna say, like, here's the thing, like, it could have literally been a mistake. Let's say, like, DC has, you know, new folk, like, you know what I mean? Like, they've moved, like, you know, personnel has changed. If they don't know, necessarily, they may not have known to, you know what I mean? Like, it could have honestly been a mistake.
They could have legitimately been like, I don't know who owns this stuff. We own it, don't we? We can just do whatever we want with these characters at this point. I mean, like, literally, DC can do anything they want with all of their characters. And it's just with Milestone that they can't. And I can imagine that being confusing to those who are in the publishing line.
Right? It was just an honest mistake. Well, we own all this, right?
It took me 10 minutes on Google searching to find out who owns those rights.
Oh,
right. The fact is, Milestone.
Well, but why would they look it up?
Their contracts.
Yeah,
I know. But what I'm saying is, Milestone basically came out as their own line, and they struck a deal that DC got to publish them.
Yeah.
And then when that fell through, Milestone basically sold the rights to DC to use the characters as an exclusivity.
Yeah.
And that's where it sits, and it has set, because it's just like the Spider-Man Sony deal, where basically if DC uses them at all in like a time span, they get to keep them, and that's why you see Static pop up occasionally.
Right.
But like I said, in the situation, they have to pay royalties every time they use them, and I don't think that the problem is Static. I don't feel is enough of a draw to keep his own comic going, or even be on a team and give a reason to pay royalties. And that, at least in the eyes of DC, I'm not. Maybe there's enough fans out there if they were to hear that the comic exists. Yeah. Because I feel like that was part of the problem of the New 52 run. Nobody knew it was there, and when you read it, it sucked. But no one even knew it was around.
You'd really have to like sell it. Part of the Teen Titans.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be.
They tried for like a minute.
My question is, when is Marvel going to start publishing Ultraverse books again?
They keep threatening that every couple of years, like, oh, we're going to have a big anniversary special for the Ultraverse, so you can have.
Don't. Like, as someone who read Ultraverse, don't. Like, it's not worth it. No one cares about Prime.
Remember that cartoon they had for Ultraverse where the theme song was just them yelling Ultraverse?
Ultraverse! Ultraverse! We bought you so that we could have good coloring.
Yeah. Well, and man, were they pretty.
I think at the end of the day, we all just are going to keep an eye on this, see where this goes. See if I'm wondering if DC's just going to be like, I don't care. We're just not going to do it.
Oh, they'll just cancel it.
They'll just be like,
straight up. They just won't do it.
Nope, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It is fascinating. It's becoming the most interesting Milestone story.
Yeah, they're literally just gonna be like, what do we do normally to keep the
right? No, it'll just fall exactly right back to where it is, and what's gonna end up happening is Static will pop in for one episode of the Titans or the Teen Titan, one issue, and boom, they got the rights to them for like 2 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. But what else do we have, Joel?
Okay, so here's an interesting one. Netflix buys Mark Millar's comic company.
No, Joel, it's not interesting that Superman went on a vacation with his family. Why do you keep trying to bring that up?
I don't know, man. I got a problem.
Is it?
Yes.
Is the only cure more cowbell?
But yeah, friggin' wow, Netflix making comic book acquisitions.
I can't troll Joel for a minute. Hold on.
Okay.
There you go. Oh no, can't troll me for a minute. But yeah, so this is pretty fascinating, especially when we stop and consider Mark Millar's like body of work the last couple of years. It feels like his last handful of comics have been nothing but movie pitches, and indeed have been made into satisfying movies.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I mean, that sounds about right. I mean, like it sounds like this has been like the last part of like a 12-part Mark Millar like plan. He's like, yes, done. Okay.
Step 1, turn movie treatments into comics. Step 2, sell them. Step 3, get acquired by Netflix.
Yeah.
Step 4, profit.
Netflix making Mark Millar movies.
Definitely
good for them.
Sorry about that, guys. That was Superman calling to let me know he's gonna be back in town next week. The vacation's over.
Oh, that's nice. Did he get us a shirt? Did he get us those shirts we want?
Oddly enough, got you a shirt, Joel. Basically, it said, my favorite superhero went on vacation, and all I got was his lousy t-shirt. Also, Green Arrow sucks. I mean, that's all it said.
That's on the back.
It's funny that he said that, man. He's just, Superman in private is just really angry.
He's an angry individual, isn't he?
Yeah.
It's like the Superman no one else knows, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the Netflix Miller thing. Interesting. I can only imagine the next couple Miller projects that get turned into movies or TV series will be Netflix exclusive now.
Right. I wonder if we'll see stuff like Jupiter's Legacy and.
Oh,
I think
God,
that'll be first.
Right. Like.
I want to see more Kick-Ass.
Yeah, maybe you can.
They could. I mean, like they could honestly just focus on either some earlier stuff from it, create their own stuff. If once they've bought the world, it doesn't matter. Like. They could put Miller there to be like, could you write some more like stories
Wasn't Kick-Ass
an outline?
The question is, my question is, does Marvel Icon own Kick-Ass?
Ooh, that's a true. Is that another one we'll never see more of because it's just locked up somewhere?
Yeah, I feel like it could be, or they have the ability to like make another. You know, like Mike Mignola is making his own Hellboy movie as separate from the Guillermo del Toro movies. Maybe like it's something like that, where it's like we can make a Mark Millar Kick-Ass movie, but it can't be related to the other Kick-Ass movie. No,
but you could make a whole TV show out of that thing at this point.
You could
easily, yeah.
And you make the thing like, oh, we're going to make it even more truthful to the source material. Oh, so you're going to make it darker and violenter and not as fun. Okay.
You're going to make Jim Carrey hate his role more?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, for fucking real. And maybe we'll do the third one that we said we were going to do but weren't going to do.
According to Get Shitty, Kingsman and Kick-Ass are not in the deal.
That sounds about right.
No, they probably wouldn't be, but I wonder if things like Reborn would be.
Oh, that'd be cool.
What's the one he did about time travel not too long ago?
Chrononauts?
Yes, Chrononauts. That's Netflix series right there.
The other question will be, will it all be part of one universe?
Oh.
I don't know.
That's where the money is these days, building shared universes.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at DC. They're doing a great job of it.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I heard, this is an aside, but I heard that the Bumblebee movie
yes, talk about this.
Is going to have Duke from G.I. Joe in it.
Wait, what?
Nuts.
That, like, the Bumblebee spin-off Transformers movie is going to be a backdoor pilot for a Hasbro cinematic universe that will include G.I. Joe and the Transformers.
Kind of oddly excited. Will My Little Pony be in it?
I hope so, man.
They could.
Oh, dude, yeah. Yes.
Isn't that Bumblebee movie also going to have John Cena in it as the star? And didn't they actually get a fairly decent director attached to it? So it's like, wow, this might be the good one.
I have not heard
it's going to take place in the timeline when Superman went on vacation and Bumblebee's going to see him driving around.
But it's only a cameo. It's a blink and you miss it thing.
Right. It's an RV in the background.
Yeah.
It's
like the Punisher in Civil War or Winter Soldier.
I still stand by my statement. The Punisher in Civil War is the exact same bullshit as Spider-Man was in the original Iron Man as that little kid. No, you can't just make the movie and then go, you know what would have been cool if that was Punisher? It is now. That is Punisher now.
Feige says it. It happened. It is Peter Parker now.
That's word of God.
Right,
if anyone can retcon, it can be him.
Can't do that in a movie.
Larry the Leviathan is has subscribed for 2 months in a row to Twitch Prime. So
thank you.
And now rapid fire. Splooge.
And I think that's a perfect transition to leave the Netflix acquisition of the Millerverse and what that entails, and go on to the next topic.
Sure. So Teagan Croft has been cast as Raven for the upcoming Teen Titans show. This is interesting because wow, is she ever really a teen? Also, she's Australian, and apparently they plucked her from the same soap opera they plucked Chris Hemsworth from.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'm always like, when it comes to shows like Teen Titans or the Nightwing movie or stuff like that, I always just go show me a publicity photo, and then I will believe it's going to happen. Right? I don't
Can you believe Cable?
I can't believe Cable.
We'll get to that. We're going to get to that.
We'll talk about that. Don't you worry.
But literally, I was like, maybe Cable will happen, and then we saw a picture. With Teen Titans the show, show me a cast photo of everyone in costume, and then
it's a series that's definitely had a lot of ups and downs. From we're going to have it on TNT to now it's app exclusive to this DC app that's not a thing yet, but will be a thing in the future.
Friend of our channels is developing that channel.
Oh shit. That's wicked.
I gotta say, it's interesting choosing someone young and who has such a innocent face when not dolled up to look like Raven, because depending on what stories they want to tell with that character, that could create some, just an interesting dichotomy in general. So
yeah,
I'd like to see
assume
that.
Raven will be the linchpin for the series because it's just so cool.
Like, up in there.
Exactly.
That's your season finale there. That's your stinger. You see like the 4 eyes peering through the darkness because you want to save some money. Yeah. You can't have the whole makeup thing with 4 eyes.
You don't know if you can afford it.
You got it wrong. Here's the season singer. Normal looking guy walks up and goes, "I'm Trigun, and this is my human form." There's that's how you save your money.
There you go.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's a dude like walking into an office and they're like, welcome back, Mr. Trigun. And you're like,
and he's like, "Oh yes, did we sell the stocks and bonds and burn down that old woman's house?"
Right. He looks at the camera and his eyes like glow a little bit red.
Oh yeah.
Like,
but he's wearing like
that cost us almost $1,000.
But he's wearing a red and black suit though, right? He's got like a cane that's got like horns on it and shit to kind of like invoke it.
And to really mess with you, he's like, "Let me call my friend Lucifer." And you're just like, "What?"
Yeah, exactly. So there's not much else to talk about there. We don't, other than we know who she is and we know what she looks like, and we'll have to wait to see where this goes, if anywhere.
Yeah.
So
what else
you got, Joel?
Speaking of casting, this is one that hit today, and this was one I was not expecting to hear about. Karl Urban is in talks to potentially star in that Mega City 1 TV series.
Okay, isn't he always in talks?
Yeah, to do everything.
Whether it be with people, in the shower, at the grocery store.
Wait. Why are you talking to people in the shower, Tiff?
If
I get a phone call from you, do I have to be like, "Are you in the shower?"
No, I'm usually just talking to myself, man. Full-blown conversations.
But
hey everybody, this is Karl Urban. I'm just getting a good lather on right now. Just thought I'd talk about it a little bit.
And by the way, that's not me saying I don't want that. I desperately want that. But we've been hearing about how Karl Urban wants this and wants to be a part of it, and is pushing for it for a really long time.
Yep.
Just do it.
People are asking what Mega City is. Mega City is, number one, the name of the city that Judge Dredd watches, and number two, it's the name of the show that's based on Judge Dredd I think it's called Judge Dredd Mega City 1.
Yeah.
And it is just going to be a I don't know if it's a mini-series or a regular series, but it's a series set in the Judge Dredd universe, and the hope is that Judge Dredd / Karl Urban will be in it. If not, they're going to cast a Judge Dredd that looks just like Karl Urban, but who knows? We haven't seen anything. We haven't seen anything. We don't even know, like we don't know if it's going to be set in the Dredd universe, or if it's just going to be like a new version of Judge Dredd. Like, we don't really know anything about it besides the name. And maybe Judge Dredd will appear, which is like frustrating because that's the only judge I want to watch of it.
I know, right? Yeah. If they Gothamed it up and it's just like, hey, here's some judges you've never seen before, fresh out of Judge Academy, and you'll get to follow them, and maybe they'll tell some stories they heard about Judge Dredd.
Yeah, I don't want that. I would take a Judge Anderson show.
Yeah, but you know what kind of sucks about that is like they might do that to see if they could get more money to then afford Karl Urban to be in it, and then it's like, hey, other judge, get out of here.
Yes.
I feel that's totally what it is when they say in talks, and I bet that talk starts and ends with, "Can you afford me?"
Yeah.
I think the answer is yes. He's Éomer and nothing.
Well,
what's Éomer?
Éomer is the brother of Éowyn, the daughter of Rohan.
He's like one of the Horse Lords. He's the one that comes back, you know. At the turn of the tides.
Are we talking Lord of the Rings here?
Yes.
Two, why do you know the family tree?
Is that Lord of the Rings fan?
It's important knowledge, man.
Yeah, he's also a necromonger. Thank you, Dan.
Oh, that's right. He's in Star Trek. Duh.
Oh, yeah, and he's Bones, and he's great.
That's the big one.
Thankfully, we don't have to worry about it being an issue because, like, they're never going to make another Star Trek movie.
Is it over?
I mean, like, it's not over, but it definitely is over.
They're doing that new TV show now, based in the movie universe, which seeks to say
did it not succeed, basically? I heard the last two didn't do that well.
Each one made less money, and this was the first one that, like, actually was more like Star Trek, but it was also the lowest rated / performing. So we're not going to.
Wait, which one's the last one that came out?
Beyond.
What happened in that one?
They surfed the wave of music and
Kirk rode a dirt bike.
Yeah, and bots or whatever. I can't even remember. Remember they took the ship and they like surfed it?
Yes, they play Sabotage.
Didn't they crash land and they had that weird white-skinned girl there?
Yeah.
Okay, I did see that one.
That like
so I was about to be like, that's
albino
Star Trek. I didn't even know one came out.
Exactly, Ben. You perfectly suited why there's no more Star Trek, because we can't keep track of them anymore.
We can't.
But I like Beyond. and I'm really excited about this show, but that's not the conversation. The conversation.
I was gonna say, regardless, I think we can all pretty much. I think we all agree that
what show?
The Judge Dredd show.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tiffany. The show. Okay, no, because you guys mentioned a Star Trek show.
Oh,
yes.
Yes.
I'm curious about that.
They're making a Star Trek show called Star Trek
Discovery.
And it's a real show. Like that's like has casting and stuff.
Yeah.
Everyone, like it's cool. But
and
the rumor is that the rumor was that it was going to be like an anthology series where it's like one season's going to be set in one time period and then another one's in another time period. But who knows? We barely got this season, so we have no idea if the show's going to be successful. I also think it's part of an app. I don't even think it's going to be on TV.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, that's the end of that. That's why I haven't heard about this whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know what makes me laugh about that Star Trek thing? You got the new Discovery thing coming out. Then you got Seth MacFarlane's The Orville, which is just a big parody of Star Trek hitting around the same time. It's like a Dawn of the Dead, Shaun of the Dead situation where the real one and the parody come out so close together.
Yeah, it's
Except
really
Shaun
weird.
of the Dead is brilliant.
It
And
is.
Seth
I agree with you
MacFarlane's
on that.
Star Trek show will probably be really
We fight all the time, and we are the worst members of the Weekly Pull as friends. We're just horrible. But I agree with you on this one.
So, I think we all here say that, hey, if Karl Urban could just actually be Dredd again and do something awesome, then yeah, we're all for it. Just find the money. I don't know where. All you literally have to do is ask the internet, and they'll just pay for Karl Urban to just dress up like Dredd at all times.
That is a crowdfunding I would kick $5 into. Look, give us money so we can hire Karl Urban.
Just do it. But yeah, so what else do we have, Joel? What's on the list?
Yeah.
Hey,
Actually,
so-
hold on. We have to have a segue because the audience asked us to talk about the new Rick and Morty. So let's talk about
Well,
Pickle
no.
Rick.
We'll get to that. We'll finish it up with Rick and Morty.
Pickle Rick, though.
I know.
Pickle Rick!
Hey, if you want to
Friggin'
hear us
great.
talk about Pickle Rick, then you better hang out to the end of this show.
Smart. Smart. And
Uh-huh.
Jaguar.
Yeah.
And
I'm also going to explain at the end of the show what's been happening with the Weekly Poll and why we fired Joel and he doesn't know yet.
Oh, there's
Oh,
a phone
no.
ringing here.
Oh, no.
And Sal's not here to turn it off. Go ahead, Joel. Tell us what the topic is.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hey, those CW DC shows will be coming back before we know it, and they've already announced plans for their big crossover event. Instead of a 4-nighter, which they did for the Invasion storyline, it's going to be a 2-night event, 2 shows, 2 nights, that's going to tell their big story. You're going to get Supergirl and Arrow one night, and you're going to get Flash and Legends the next night.
Oh.
What about the Black Lightning show?
Black Lightning is apparently not in the continuity, but I have to imagine the reason they switched it to 2 nights is they'll probably need to accommodate Black Lightning in there somewhere, and if
What a
he's not
stupid
connected,
thing.
Wait,
That's
he's
so
not
dumb.
in the timeline?
No, he's in his
Wait.
own universe.
I'm already not liking the fact that we have TV universe, comic universe, and movie universe, but now we have 2 TV universes?
Yes.
And I already know TNT's over here, so that's 3 TV universes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Plus
And
Gotham.
DC
plus...
wonders why their shows have been getting worse and worse as we go on.
Well, here's the thing. If people like Black Lightning, then they'll cross over it and they'll find a way for Black Lightning to hang out with everyone else, much like how Supergirl hangs out with everyone else, even though she's taken from
that's
another-
bullshit. That's because I get it with Supergirl's at a different network, and we had to have some kind of valid excuse because Supergirl made statements like, "Oh, it's only me" and stuff like that. Yeah, you kind of had to make it work somehow, and that made sense. But Black Lightning is being developed by the same people that made the other shows. Why
That's
can't it be?
unbelievable.
It's also messed up, too, because it's like Black Lightning is from Metropolis, too. He fights a lot of Superman enemies, and his best run involves, like, him and Superman fighting the 100. And
Yeah.
Wouldn't it at least make more sense to put him in one of... We have 2... So that's 4 universes. We
Yeah.
already have... Put him in the Supergirl one.
that's all they needed to do. That would have
Yeah.
been so obvious.
I still
and they
can't
didn't.
believe that they didn't fold Supergirl into the Arrowverse. Like
Yeah.
she can visit, but like they didn't just say like there was like an incursion or something and just push them to get like.
They had every opportunity.
How
and
could they
did.
not do that? Like they could literally have called it a crisis and just put her stuff and just literally all you have to do is just retcon her stuff and her cast into this. I guess then you wouldn't have Superman because like can
That's
the
an
Arrowverse
issue.
not reference Superman? Is that the idea here?
I don't know. It's weird.
Maybe
That's
they're
very
hedging
weird. 'Cause
their
they've
bets. Maybe
Because the
Yeah.
Arrowverse has referenced them.
Maybe they're just hedging their bets, and they're like, no, see, we kind of want them to be separate, because then if one of them folds, we don't have to explain what happened to them. We'll just
Yeah,
keep going.
yeah.
We'll just pretend like they didn't exist. It's fine. It's cool. Whatever. Bye.
They-
No,
they-
no, you know what? I would agree with you, except that they've done that with Constantine, and now he just cameos.
Aw.
Yeah.
Poor Constantine.
Maybe
Constantine was on another network, and he's in the Arrowverse.
Maybe they don't want to force that, though, with, like, other shows that have, like, a large cast of characters, where we just, like, well, we just stopped talking to all of them because it was just, we don't know.
Constantine's a dick. He left ashes everywhere, so I don't talk to him anymore.
Right? It's just him. It's just Constantine. If Constantine's not around, it's just because nobody likes him. Like, the character.
Right. It's not like, weird or suspicious that he's not around.
Like, if Supergirl got canceled, they're not all of a sudden like, hey, we're in, like, this life or death situation. If only Oh, wait, no, we don't talk.
We don't talk to her anymore.
Yeah.
Now,
she slept with Barry's second cousin, so like she's ostracized.
No. Oh no! Yeah, so they mentioned the schedule. They did not mention what the storyline is going to be for it. I mean, we got an Invasion one last season. There's plenty of places they could go for. I mean, I didn't think they'd pull the Dominators as freaking villains. I thought that was a pretty sick pull. I wonder who they'll pull this season.
Yeah, it was as I remember, it wasn't really well received.
It was not as good as the first one. The Vandal Savage crossover was actually better than the Dominator one.
Which I guess is why
that's why they mentioned the Man of Steel and Darkest Night. Like, Rip Hunter has mentioned Superman and Batman.
Yeah. That's really cool.
So,
vaguely,
like,
yeah.
Let's hope they do it.
Yeah, let's
I'm
actually
fine.
do it.
I would be fine if you just put Black Lightning in Supergirl. Like, okay, fine. We have two, and you want to play that game. Okay, the meta powers over here, and the more realistic people over here, except for Flash. I don't.
It's also one of those things too that the whole thing of the Black Lightning show is that he's an older hero who was a hero for a bit, then retired. That fucks with the canon that they've already made up if he exists.
Yeah.
Well, they'll work it out.
I'm sure they will.
Or they won't, and it won't matter.
It's like we have two Vixens right now.
Yeah,
that's Cartoon works with everyone Vixen, but then we also have her in the Justice Society because why not?
Yeah.
Because the other actors couldn't commit. That was the problem. They were setting up the Mari McCabe one, but then at the last second, the actress is like, yeah, I can't really commit to this show. I'm out.
Yeah.
Gotta get contracts,
so that's why,
people. Gotta get contracts.
That's why we now have two Vixens, and it's really confusing.
That's so dumb.
You could have just been like, oh, by the way, here's Mari's sister. But instead we're like, here's one for the 1940s.
Yeah.
Is that working for you? You buying that?
No.
I don't care. Just watch the show.
It's the way it's gotta be.
So, all right. So we had the opportunity to talk about what's also going on TV, but what else do we have that's on our list? We were like covering all kinds of media today.
Yeah.
We are. So in the realm of movies, last week we got our first reveal of Domino for Deadpool 2, and today we got Cable.
Okay, I want to mention Domino because I mean I know Domino because I read a ton of Deadpool. Domino is typically white with a black spot. I like how they got a black woman and put a white spot. I was like, that is genius.
With and you know, because it's Deadpool, they're gonna make a joke about that.
Oh, they gotta make a joke on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The only thing that, my only criticism about Domino is just that her hair's big instead of little. But
everything else could have flowed just fine. Just tone her hair, and they still can. That was just a cameo shot.
It was just a publicity photo. They haven't shot a frame yet. I'm sure.
Yeah,
it's fine. But Cable.
The only problem I have with Cable is Josh Brolin's not as big as I would have imagined Cable. Like I picture Cable being like rock big.
Can anyone be as big as that without the use of completely legal over-the-counter medications?
Well, he could just wear prosthetics that just make him really big. Although, you know what it could be? Because Thanos is gigantic. So my guess is he's probably just like, I don't want to wear all that shit. If I'm gonna do this, I want different kind of.
Thanos was mostly CG.
That's true. But maybe that's what it is. It's like, I don't want to be CG. I want to wear all the stuff. Like,
and also, maybe they'll make another joke about how Deadpool didn't have the budget to make him look larger,
make him super swole.
Well, also all right, this is really random, but trust me, it all makes sense. Take a look at Conan O'Brien. He's got his Flaming Sea superhero persona, right? They made a suit for him in which he legitimately looks like
he looks huge.
He looks huge.
Oh,
He's jacked, and it's pretty well done. So I'm pretty sure they could probably add a little bit here and there as need be.
Yeah.
What's funny about this was when I first saw the image, I was just like, I immediately was like, no. And then I was like, wait, just give it a minute. And I looked at it again. And I'm like, I'm kind of interested to see what he does with this. Whereas, like, with Thanos, I'm like, eh.
Well, with Thanos, I was like, he looks like the farmer version of Thanos. What are you? And they're like, well, he doesn't wear the armor because he doesn't need it. And I'm like, that's why he wears the armor.
Right. Well,
because he's a jackass.
I guess what I'm saying is, like, I am excited potentially to see what Brolin does with Cable. Whereas with Thanos, I'm just like, I don't know. I can't. What are you doing?
I've never cared about Thanos. Like when they teased him at the end of Avengers, I was like, why?
Right?
Because he's our biggest villain. That's why.
Right.
He's not the biggest villain.
That we own the
Thanos
rights to.
is only a big deal because of Infinity Gauntlet, and that was only one solid story. And I agree with Sal on this one. Unless you're huge into the Marvel cosmetology, which most people aren't, except Rob.
It was really weird. I
There's
felt like
so
it was
many
like
villains.
Yeah.
I felt like Joss Whedon was doing that on purpose to kind of fuck with Marvel.
Right.
Like they were like, oh yeah, and now we're gonna tease Thanos. You got to deal with Gems. You got to deal with Adam Warlock. You got to deal with it. Like what?
Yeah. No.
Because
Life on Saturn.
you know, the cosmic Marvel entity shit. That's not even like a big deal. There's so many of the storylines that take all the. You could have just done, like, don't title the first Ultron appearance, name that, do an actual Age of Ultron, and you could still get all of your superheroes involved and a much more vicious villain, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanos was just beaten by the Guardians.
Yeah. Yeah, like Thanos is cool, kind of, and you can do it right, and I hope they do. But, like, and they haven't really done anything with him anyway, so it's kind of like, oh, like, well,
I'm
you have an uphill battle for me, but I'm still hyped. That said, that Cable picture was sweet.
Every Marvel movie that comes out, my hype for Infinity War is getting smaller and smaller.
You don't say.
Like, I started to realize that. Like, I went to Spider-Man, loved Spider-Man, but I think it's been years now since I left a Marvel movie, and I talked about it for weeks afterwards. I was like, dude, the Guardians of the Galaxy was amazing. I want to read all the books. I walked out of Doctor Strange, and I continued reading the book I was already reading. I didn't go look into the history of Doctor Strange. I didn't go digging around. I didn't do any of that stuff. You know, I walked out of Spider-Man, the same thing. I was like, I came out of Spider-Man, I was still reading Spider-Man. I didn't go digging around. I didn't go look. We didn't talk about it. No, like, we didn't. When was the last time we even did a spoiler cast for a movie at this point? Like, it's just, like, the fact.
We did you one for Spider-Man. I just don't think you were on it. Rob was on it.
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, like, I remember when the weekly poll started, spoiler cast was like the thing. Every Monday, we didn't put on we made a special day. Spoiler cast had to happen immediately after the movie. You had to make sure you saw the movie. I remember one of the big arguments we had early weekly poll days was with Faust. You have to go see the movie or you won't be here for like 3 weeks or something like that. And now it's just become, do you guys want to do it?
Right.
Like, does anyone give a shit? Like,
Well, the thing is, it's just because I think everyone's hype has kind of gone down. Spider-Man did well, but didn't perform the way, like, as well as I think everyone was hoping.
Still their best solo opening.
I
though.
still think that Spider-Man was one of the best Marvel movies.
Yeah.
I agree, but I feel like between DC, between Fox, between all these other movies that are now franchises and shared universes, I think the novelty's worn off, and now we're just like, that's the movies. We just go to the movies, see the latest one, and go, that was good, and we walk away.
My concern is I don't even think it's because people are kind of like sick of the Marvel movies. I think it's because like the drama surrounding them and the speculation about who's going to stay and who's going to go and what they're going to do next has kind of permeated it. I couldn't talk about Spider-Man publicly in any way, in any forum at all, without someone telling me that I wasn't going to get another Spider-Man movie. You know, I was like, we haven't gotten the first one yet, and people are telling me all the reasons why it's not forever and it's not going to work and they can't have him and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, first of all, you don't know shit because you're only reading like variety tabloid like spin-off stuff. And number two, like let's just enjoy the goddamn movie. But everyone is like plugged in and everybody knows, like, there's no, like, I guarantee you all the chatter about Thor Ragnarok will be, when is Chris Hemsworth going to leave? Is Thor going to die in Infinity War so that Chris Hemsworth is going to leave? And it's like, fucking, who cares?
It's hard to view these in a vacuum, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, we've been building up for this for, by the time this goes out, over 10 years now. And I think part of the problem is, like, a hype train's great, but you've hype trained for 10 years. Yeah. At this point, I don't care. I'm more curious what's happening after Infinity War than what's actually happening in Infinity War.
Age of Ultron should have been bigger and better, and if it was, it would have. I think it would have helped a lot.
Yeah.
Well,
no, I think you're right. I think we peaked with the first Avengers. It had never happened, and what should have come next was more epicness. And it was like, now we're just building up for other movies. And you're like,
maybe the lesson here is like Marvel maybe shouldn't have split. Like maybe they should have been more like the comics.
What do you mean, like split?
Well, like after Avengers, Feige like didn't need Marvel approval. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, that was that.
I can do whatever I want, and it was like, oh, maybe like they should be more like the comics. I don't know. It just
perhaps
it just feels like I'm still excited. I'm still hyped. I want to see Doctor Strange and Spider-Man team up and stuff.
Oh, of
and
course.
I gotta say, like if Phase 4 is literally just crossover movies, if all the movies are like Thor Ragnarok, where it's like, yeah, it's the next Spider-Man movie is gonna be a Spider-Man Doctor Strange buddy movie, and the next like Captain America movie is gonna be like Sam Wilson and Winter Soldier hanging out, and like the next whatever, like I can't think of the next character, but like whatever, but like you're crossing over character. It's just gonna be Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's gonna be Ant-Man and Wasp. They're both gonna be superheroing. Like if it's crossover movies, maybe I won't be like hyped about the next one, but I will be really happy that I got this solid movie. And so it won't be hype, but it will be just general contentment, which is fine.
In order to Saturn, trust me, I've been doing that Kingdom Hearts 3 wait as well. And now it's gotten to the point where I just don't give a fuck. Just give me anything. It can be just a shit stick with Mickey on one side and Thor on the other. And I'll be like, Kingdom Hearts 3!
Well, you see, Nomura is working really hard to make sure all those, zipper physics are just right.
No, Nomura is working way too hard on like 9 other games.
They're just going with the Valve, whole thing. You don't go to 3. You don't do 3s. You just stop at 2.
Hey, any day now it's going to be Duke Nukem when it's done.
Yeah.
No.
But Josh Brolin as Cable, interesting image of him. We'll see more of him, I'm sure. I'm interested to see how he plays off of Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Is he going to do a voice, or is he just going to sound like Josh Brolin?
That's how Josh Brolin acts, so he will definitely sound like Josh
It'll
Brolin.
just be Josh Brolin. That's okay. Ryan Reynolds makes it work anyway, so I'm excited. I'm excited to see it. He kind of reminded me a little bit of the comedian in a weird way, so
yeah.
I don't know what it was. Maybe it's the grit. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, anyone else have any other notes on Mr. Brolin playing Cable?
No.
Should be good.
All right.
So, hey, speaking of cinematic universes, and we absolutely were, Ian McShane has been cast as Professor Broom in the new upcoming Hellboy movie. Right around the same time, Mignola's like, I hope this will spawn a whole Hellboy cinematic universe. I'm like, well, everyone wants a cinematic universe, but do you deserve a cinematic universe? Can you make it happen?
I don't care. Mignola was a dick at Emerald City, so I don't care about anything he does.
Why you gotta be mean to my man Sal?
He was
mean to Tiffany.
Well, double fuck him.
I want to be mean to somebody to be mean to Tiffany.
He wasn't mean. He was just not enthusiastic because he drew Doctor Strange, Doctor Doom, Triumph and Torment, and I really enjoyed that book a lot. So I brought it to him and I asked him to sign it, and he was like, "Oh, because it wasn't, I guess, his necessarily.
Right.
Like it was his, but it wasn't like his creation in a sense."
Yeah. So I've heard like he's like that no matter what.
He signed it in pencil.
Oh.
I was like, okay. Well.
That tells me everything I need to know, Mignola.
Yeah, it's okay. He wasn't mean. It was a weird instance, and I just let it go. But I like the idea of the Hellboy universe. I think it's just better to if you're gonna do something, just go to TV, whether it be via HBO, Showtime, Stars, or even Netflix. Just go that way and make like a BPRD style show. It doesn't have to feature Hellboy. You got plenty of stories.
I would watch the first episode of a BPRD series, but the Hellboy universe for me is not engaging enough to warrant watching that much. To warrant a cinematic universe in any way. I think it's a cool concept. I think it's a great design. I think that like the first Hellboy movie was lightning in the bottle, and I don't think that franchise has legs enough to work. Ask the creators of Atomic Robo if they think that Hellboy is that much of an original idea.
I mean, it's funny that they cast Ian McShane. I'm like, is he going to be a more active Broom than John Hurt was? Because like he just existed in flashbacks and shit.
Whatever. John Hurt was a great actor. Ian McShane is a great actor. At least they're getting good people.
I hope he does it just like Deadwood, just for the whole thing. Hey, Hellboy, cocksucker, let me tell you about this. There's magic and monsters in the world.
I can't imagine. Yeah, I don't know.
And that's that, everybody. Everyone's very lukewarm on it. But hey, here's something that might actually excite us. We talked about this earlier.
Will excite us.
Oh, give me a chance, son. I will tell you. We had talked about this earlier, but we now officially have a date and a number on this now. Brian Hitch will be leaving Justice League as of issue number 31.
Hooray!
Hey, wasn't he supposed to leave like issue 26?
I thought he was supposed to leave a lot earlier.
Guess not. But yeah, hey, I might
Wait,
have
so he's writing the kids' version that's going on right now?
Yes, I think so.
Because I'm intrigued by that. Is he gonna go? Is he gonna go off on like, and finally a good story?
I guess this is his last note. He's going out strong. But yeah, Hitch is leaving. Maybe I can read Justice League again.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
It's
I'm
like,
excited for whoever's going to take over.
there's like part of me that feels terrible about that because it's like, yeah, do we talk about creators? Do we critique them and all that stuff? But it's never fun to be like, hooray, you're leaving! But
It's
I
like-
kind of am.
It's like I dug his like short-lived JLA that was in DCU that like never like only finished when Rebirth had started, and it just kind of felt like he started writing that story and never stopped, and he kept referencing stuff that happened in JLA, and it's just like, hey, this was all a bunch of ideas I had left over for JLA that I'm just using for Justice League now.
Yeah. It's a great time for Hickman to jump on Justice League, I'm just saying.
Right?
Just
And I'm sorry,
throwing that out there.
when is this issue coming out that he's going to be...
Yeah, what's the date?
31st, everything's up to like 28 now, isn't
Okay.
it? So sooner than...
When's the Justice League movie coming out?
Good question.
November?
Oh.
December? I don't know.
Oh, is that what it is? It's conveniently timed.
I'm
and,
just
like,
wondering.
do we know who the new writer is? Is
I'm
it Jeff
just-
Johns again?
I guarantee it is for at least the first arc.
Yeah, we don't know who it is, but I would happily jump into a Jeff Johns Justice League book again.
Oh, dude, his last one was great.
It
And then he
was.
did that weird storyline with the guy with the the news article who became a bad guy and they fought ghosts, but then it was good again.
Yeah.
Remember that? Remember that when the Justice League fought ghosts?
Yeah.
They fought everything.
I was like, what's happening?
Oh, look at that. People are saying November 17th. There you go, including Sal. So that gives them plenty of time to get some new stories up in there and to get some better buzz.
Get some trades out there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
November 17th is also the launch date of the next Versus video on my channel, Justice League versus Thor and Hulk.
Okay.
Ah.
Are we wanting
Self-promotion.
That's also 3 days before my birthday.
Oh.
It's also the day I'll be putting out a video wishing Tiffany happy birthday.
Damn, he's good at one-upsmanship.
Nice.
All I can,
But yeah,
all I can do is smile and say thank you.
so that's Justice League. Again, definitely keep your eyes peeled to solicitation, because I'm sure that's where we're going to hear who's going to be taking
Joel.
over. Yes.
I want to whisper sweet nothings in your ear.
That's
You're
that's
doing
a
it to all
common
of us.
practice.
Yeah, you're whispering it for all of us. Don't.
So this is Benny ASMR, everybody.
No.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the world of Brought to You by Benny. Today I got a new tattoo. Look.
Hey Joel, for the love of God, do we have any other topics?
Yeah,
What is
one
that?
tiny
Samus.
one.
Oh, it is. It's
I got-
awesome.
I've got
That
Samus
rocks.
That
Oh
does rock.
shit! So it is.
It looks
And
like
and Metroid on there.
an Art Nouveau Samus.
Is it?
That's what it looks like.
Is
I
it?
think it is.
The line work, for the record, I wanted to get the shading done today, but this is right on my shin bone. And there's only 2 locations that I've ever been a little bitch about when it comes to tattoos,
Here
and
they
that's
are.
one of them.
That's really good looking.
It's pretty
Yeah.
slick. So yeah, just
That's
one
why I
last
was
piece
so
of
late.
news.
That's why I was so late to the setup and didn't answer all day. I was doing panels.
All right.
Getting
All right,
tattoos.
guys. We have one more piece of news, and then we can talk a little bit about Rick and Morty before we
Sure,
close
this-
this baby
Well,
out.
I do want to fill everyone in what's going on the weekly poll, because I'm getting really tired of all of you people being like, come back, because I haven't left.
Okay. All right. So we'll do this. Then we'll do the weekly poll news. Then like 5 minutes of Rick and Morty.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah, this one's a shorty. Is Suicide Squad 2 already in trouble? The director they were eyeing has jumped off that project and is now doing the Jungle Cruise ride movie for Disney.
Oh.
Which makes me think, wow, that does not bode well for that project. It's like, big superhero project, or
Or the Disney parks.
or movie based on a Disney ride. I feel I can do more with the Disney ride
Well,
project.
okay, in his defense, if you read the article, it stated that Disney was intending to make this their next Pirates of the Caribbean. It wasn't
Yeah.
just a solo thing. It's supposed
Right.
to be the next
Yeah.
big Disney trilogy.
Mhm.
And they're allowing him to take point on the whole series. It's not just a here's one superhero movie versus another movie based on a theme park ride.
Right.
The last time Disney did that, it sold like gangbusters and made an entire trilogy, which is still going on, and became like a 5-movie series. And and that's what he was offered.
Well, and say what you will, but like they still make money.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna say, didn't they try and do the same thing with Tomorrowland and the Haunted Mansion? I don't think it always.
So, I mean, it is a gamble either way. But I mean, look at it this way: for your career's sake, you're being given an offer to potentially do at least 3 movies, or 1 superhero movie. And superhero movies are no longer as amazing as they once were. Where it's like if you got a role on that, that was your entire career. People get superhero roles all the time, from director to photography. Like there's so many of them now. Getting a superhero movie doesn't seem as hard as it used to be.
No, it's true.
No, really. And to quote my buddy Matt here, it's like, okay, so basically all future DC movie sequels, it's a little hard to get hyped up about now that we know what's happening with Flashpoint potentially being the big resetter for everything.
We don't know. We don't know anything except for the name.
That's all rumors.
That's just rumors.
It is a rumor.
Everyone has said Flashpoint is the big resetter, but if you look at it, in all honesty, because everyone's like, oh, Flashpoint's going to reset everything. Flashpoint's going to reset everything.
At least reset some stuff.
Brought us the New 52, yes, but it wasn't that hardcore of a reset kind of thing. It was here's Batman, Superman, and everyone. And some people act a little differently, but this is their new stories.
Yeah. And their costumes are a little different.
And and everyone's freaking out like Flashpoint's going to reset everything. I'm like, no, I think that they're doing that because it's literally, and this is not even a joke, name me one other recognizable Flash storyline that they could convert. And I'm a Flash fan, and I can't give you one.
Yeah, that is immediately recognizable. It's hard, but like...
Right.
Only Rebirth, but they're not going to call the first one Flash Rebirth.
No.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no other recognizable Flash storyline that people know off the top of their head. They know the villains, Reverse Flash and the Rogues, but if you're billing off of a title that people will recognize, Flashpoint is something that people know from the New 52, people know from the cartoon, people know from the TV show because they made a huge... Like, that is the only storyline. This isn't Batman where it's like it's based on No Man's Land, or it's based on Nightfall, or Superman where it's like based on the Krypton storyline. Flashpoint's the only title that everyone knows.
Yeah. Also, with his first movie, you want a good name cachet, unlike Batman, where you can literally just be like, the motherfucking Batman. You'll go see it because he's Batman.
Exactly. Yeah. And The Flash. Okay. Yeah. Some people still don't know who the hell the Flash is. I mean, some people might just hear that name and go, "Oh, it's a guy who's going to run around in a trench coat and be naked."
Well, and it's a solid title, regardless of what the implication is. And I mean, Marvel has already proven you can call your movie whatever you want, and it doesn't have anything to do with the comic. Like, Infinity War is not Infinity War. Age of Ultron was not Age of Ultron. Like, they could just pick the name because it just looks cool. I mean, it could literally just be like, the Flashpoint is that Flash like really needs to like prove to this girl that he loves her at the end.
Well, I have a feeling what it's gonna be. Honestly, this is my theory entirely, and it's kind of agreeing with what one of our viewers, Maker Viewer, just said. I have a feeling that the timeline is going to go horrific in the Flash movie.
Yes.
Think back to Batman v Superman. Think the Flash showing up and saying that she's going to die, she's going to cause all of this. What if that finally happens in the Flash? He goes back in time and corrects it to the correct path again. Yeah. No cast changes, nothing like that. Just in the Flash, shit went horrible. Lois dies in a disaster. Superman goes crazy. We get a glimpse of a movie version of Injustice, which will never actually happen. And he goes back to fix that, giving us the correct timeline.
We also know Wonder Woman is apparently going to be in Flashpoint now, so you'll get like the evil cracked mirror versions of the Justice League.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you have the first 15 minutes, a horrific battle happens now that we know the Justice League, and in that battle, Lois Lane dies and everything goes horrible. You then go 1 year in the future, and you could easily have set up the entire bad Flashpoint universe in the current timeline, and the movie is about him correcting it on the correct path again.
It's true. No, I think that's a movie that we would all enjoy and go see. So, like, I hope that's what it is. I mean, like, the implication with Flashpoint, like, I know I just said, like, Flashpoint's just a cool title. It could mean anything, but knowing that Jeff Johns is involved, it's probably going to have something to do with Dark Timelines. Plus, like, as we've proven, like, no one working on Batman wants to do a story that isn't theirs, and so they're not going to do like the alternate dark version of like the Superman-led apocalypse-ruled, nightmare version of the future in a Batman movie, but they might do it in a Flash movie.
Yeah.
Well, and that's just it. What I think this does is it gives WB a way to test the idea of doing alternate universes and stuff. Like, 'cause remember, we've had rumors of like alternate Elseworld stories, like Red Sun. So what if in Flashpoint half the movie is the world going to shit him fixing
Exactly.
it? And then if WB is like, everyone is talking about this dark injustice-like universe, why don't we make movies like this? And the excuse could be the Flash is traveling through them. Simple.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
I mean,
let's hope they do that.
And people are like, oh, we can't do Thomas Wayne. You're right, we can't do Thomas Wayne. But that doesn't mean that Flashpoint has to be a carbon copy of a story that has already been told like 4 times in different mediums. I mean,
honestly, I think DC's proven that they don't like to do that anyway in their movies. Like, they give them some reference material and then they just go from there, you know?
Exactly.
Like, I think they've proven that they will never really put a story into film.
Oh,
Yeah, they're not going to just do a direct adaptation.
Yeah.
And Harvoke, I can guarantee you the reason why we don't have Flash Reverse, and it's about the Reverse Flash, is because WB and CW and everyone buried into the ground the idea of an enemy speedster with 3 seasons of enemy speedsters. If the first movie is an enemy speedster,
It's going to be frustrating.
That'll be really
but it also
dope.
can't be Mirror Master, so it has to be something kind of like, it has to be like a dark timeline.
Exactly. And that doesn't mean Reverse Flash won't show up and be like, you fucked everything up, Barry. That doesn't mean that's not going to happen. But he can't be the focal point because we have like whole seasons of a show based on that idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, Flash is going to have some hurdles to overcome because it's like, you know, hey, we get this guy for free on television, don't we?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. All right, I think that's all the news that we have for
It's good
today.
to
Am I
print,
correct
yeah.
on that?
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
All right, so before we close out this show, we got 2 more things we're going to do. One, Benny's going to give us a little rundown on what's going on with the weekly poll, and then we're going to talk about Rick and Morty for like a few
Here's
minutes.
a funny side note. The other 3 here have no idea what I intend to say right now.
No, it's true.
Oh,
No.
jeez.
For all
Technically,
they
we
know,
never
I'm
do.
about to be like, and we're canceled. Bye, guys.
Should I start taking notes? Is this going to be on the test?
No. What I wanted to do is because it's been quite obvious that like between Rob's move and me moving and everyone moving around, that the cast is kind of like whittled down to just Sal, Tiffany, and Joel recently. And like you've only seen me popping up occasionally. You've only seen Rob popping up occasionally. Actually, I don't think Rob's been on at all since the beginning of June because of his
He's not
boob,
been
has
back.
he?
No.
Yeah, no, it was like mid-June, and then he moved, and that was the end of that. I
Yeah,
wanted to
Overcast
explain
was
what's
his
going
last
on
episode.
because between the Discord, between everything that's going on, and it just people are getting all nervous, and you guys think we're splitting up. That's not the case at all, and that's what I wanted to say. The weekly poll is not going anywhere. What actually happened was, just so you guys know, a business decision came down. We all sat down like adults and discussed it. And we decided that it was best for the weekly poll to remain as it is, with not moving forward into like a business direction, so that every channel can remain separate, every channel can do their own thing, and we all come together and discuss weekly poll things. That was the big decision, and that happened right at the exact time that I was moving and Rob was moving. So what looked like infighting and all kinds of stuff, or arguing, or people being like, "What's going on?" Nothing bad was happening. Everyone was adults. Everyone agreed on the direction. And that's exactly what's going on with the weekly poll. It's coming back to the way it was. I'm here as much as I can be right now, which should be pretty consistent. The only time you're going to see me missing is, I think, in 2 weeks. I finally am taking a vacation, and I'm just going to go to a beach in North Carolina.
Nice.
If I'm available, I'll pop on. If I'm not, I won't be here. But that's like the only thing I can think of that's going to get in the way in the next couple of months.
Totally.
The weekly poll is still going to be doing a live show from New York Comic Con. There is a slight shift to that. That show is a Comicstorian or Comics Explained show due to what New York Comic Con wants. But I'm already arranging a secondary live show for the weekly poll, seeing what we can arrange for that. Once again, like I said, no one on here even is aware of anything I'm mentioning to you guys, other than that New York Comic Con wanted just a Comicstorian or Comics Explained show. And the Discord was shifted over simply because everyone has their own Discords, except for Rob and I. And since Rob and I use the weekly poll the most, it just made the most sense. There's a Comic Pop one, there's a Cape Joel one, there's a Sea Monster one. Why not just go that route since everyone is using their own? But
There's
no
a comic
problem.
multiverse one that Matt runs for me.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, everyone has their own brands, and that was the business decision that came down, was do we become this big conglomerate combined element thing, or do we just say the weekly poll is separate channels who come and have fun and chat, and we just keep doing that? And that was what the decision was. So there's no problems. We are all coming back. It's just been a very crazy couple of months for Rob and for me. Sea Monster also was moving. I don't know what's going on with that, but as far as I know, that's what was happening. She was moving, and once again. So I do want to say thank you to Sal, Tiffany, and Joel for maintaining everything and maintaining the guests and keeping everything flowing, because if they hadn't, we probably wouldn't have a show at this point.
We try.
Thank you.
Yeah. But that I did want to clarify because I'm getting asked by so many people, like, did you leave? What's going on? And the whole thing of me and Rob is not to compete with the Weekly Poll. It's why you don't see us competing with the Weekly Poll. The thing with me and Rob is Rob lives here now, and that's all it is. So, but that's what I wanted to clarify. So we can publicly say it on the Weekly Poll. There is no problems. Everyone is friends. The Weekly Poll's not going away. We didn't have one of those big YouTuber fights where it's like, fuck you guys, I'm out. No, none of that happened.
No tables were flipped.
No.
I just felt like we had to actually say something because there's so many issues going on with other YouTube groups out there that I think everyone's just jumping to the Weekly Poll's done. No.
Yeah.
No, Rob lives down the street. We're not married.
Not yet, anyway.
They're working
But yes,
on it.
that's it. And as far as I know, everyone is going to New York Comic Con. We just don't know what the show is going to be. Right now, it's just going to be a weird thing. We're figuring that out. Everyone, I mean, as far as I know, everyone's still going because Joel, you said you're going, right?
Yeah, I got my
So everyone's going to be there. So
Yeah.
We'll be there. Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to do. And I meant to say something before we even started the show, but I was so late because of the tattoo that we just kind of like jumped into the show. And then Tiffany had her I'm working face, which to me looks like she's confused.
It does. I do this a lot. I'm like,
right. And so I just didn't want to interrupt her. She seemed very focused.
very focused. I was resizing windows and getting videos in, and yeah.
Someone says new emotes. What are the new emotes? Isn't there new emotes?
Maybe they want them.
Oh, in order to get emotes, our sub count has to go back up. We fell way low because of everyone not half being here and stuff like that. So our sub count, if we take any of these emotes away right now, we aren't able to put anything back at the moment.
Yeah, they won't come back.
And as far as where the Weekly Poll is located, it is staying right here on Twitch. I know that we restarted the gaming channel, but we've already made it a drive to just stream on YouTube at the moment. If streaming becomes a normal thing for the gaming channel, then we're going to work out what's happening over here.
Yeah.
But this is still the home of the Weekly Poll right now. So,
right.
Yeah, that's why we're on YouTube. It keeps the divide even. Joel's Discord, please. Joel, they want to know your Discord.
You don't want to go to my Discord.
Well, that's a great way to work on your marketing.
Yeah.
It's a horrible, dark, and gritty place. It's
click that one. That's mine. If you want to go to Joel.
It's the comic multiverse. Go ask my other co-host Matt about it. He'll tell you all about it. He runs the back end on that one for me and
They're not going
reports
to do
to me.
that.
I know they will.
Tevye is asking about the poll. So because I've been moving, Rob's been moving, everything like that, Sal's pretty much taken complete point in scheduling the Weekly Poll. And because of the same exact reasoning, because everything was happening right around March, April, Tiffany takes entire point on the poll. So I don't. Is there any issues with the poll, Tiffany? Or
No, the poll has just kind of become a two-man show, and we have an occasional guest now here and there.
Yeah.
We honestly try to schedule. We're trying to schedule a guest once a month to come on and chat like comics with us. So
Had a real good experience with Thorgy. Talked about his love of the new Jean Grey comic. That was fun.
Very nice. Very nice guy. Nice to talk with him. So we'll have him on again. We have a couple of other guests that we have scheduled, so you'll be seeing them inevitably. But that's what the poll is gonna be for the time being.
Yeah. And we keep that over on the Weekly Poll YouTube channel.
Yeah. So
okay.
That goes over there. So
which is also run by Sal and Tiffany. So like I said, guys, you really need to thank them. Because with all the moving and everything happening, the Weekly Poll would have just vanished from like May until about now.
Yeah, it would have been weird.
And with the way the internet works, that would have been the end of the Weekly Poll.
Big time.
The internet is not forgiving. It is not a forgiving place.
You can't take a month off.
No. And we probably would have taken close to 3 months if it wasn't for YouTube. So I wanted to thank you guys publicly because I enjoyed the Weekly Poll and didn't want it to go away.
Thank you. I did too.
Yeah.
Same.
We're all I think we're all honestly excited to have New York coming up, to be able to see everybody in person once again. Not that seeing everybody's smiling faces here isn't great, but like there's just something awesome about actually, interacting with you guys in person, eating food, watching any haggle deals, regret buying things, desperately want to buy something. It's a joy.
Yeah.
No, I can legally go ham now. So one of the things I did over the last 2 months was correct all of my banking issues. I have a special credit card which has extra funds in it, and it's all write-offs, so I can buy whatever I want now.
Oh, the
Nice.
splurge! God, he has a splurge card. Someone
I
stop
have
him!
a splurge card because the way I can't. So the channel, I have to pay out employees, I have to pay out myself, and everyone has like a legit check now. I don't just get the whatever the excess funds are for the last couple of months. I don't get to play with, and because of that, one of my other businesses is done. It's closed up now. So my funds have gotten a lot tighter. So we shuffled everything around, and I now have a business splurge card, which just allows me to play with the excess money in the business side of the house. I just bought a $700 Wolverine Hulk statue.
I know exactly what statue you're talking about.
I know you do.
So Benny is literally going to be Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman when we get to the con.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so awesome too, because I wanted that Wolverine Hulk statue. I'm gonna link it. It's the Sideshow Collectibles Wolverine Hulk
I'm
statue.
looking right
Oh
at it.
yeah, I know what it is.
Yeah, so I wanted it, and it went off. They were done. They had no more to sell. And I'm like, oh, I guess it's just fate. I couldn't get it, you know?
Yeah.
And the other day, they put up, like, we've got another order, so we're going to put them back up. And I was like, well, I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
This is great. You can switch the heads. You can make a classic Wolverine or
Yeah.
Wolverine.
So that's going to be the background in the R&B podcast. That's the Rob and Benny thing. And for those of you guys wondering why there is an R&B podcast, they have Elseworlds Exchange. Why can't I have one? I'm going to go bank purchasing statue. There's resale value in these.
Yeah.
I love
It's
the
an
guy
investment.
standing next to them. Yes, hello.
Yeah. Hi.
This is my Hulk Wolverine statue.
It's a
How-
baller
You know what?
statue.
They do that to show you scale.
Oh, I know they do
Have you
that.
seen the ones where they put the apple next to it?
Yeah, that's better than like, oh, hello. Welcome to my black room where I keep one statue. Yes. It's lovely.
I'm an
The R&B
eccentric.
podcast is currently hosted on Comicstorian. We're working out with someone to get it up on iTunes and SoundCloud on a regular basis, but it's just Comicstorian every Saturday.
Yep.
Am I going to resell them? We actually do resell them. One of my other side hustles is I own an eBay store. So I will just admit to it. For years, I've hated resellers because I always have to pay astronomical amounts of money for things. And then it just clicked one day. I get to go to a lot of cons. Why don't I become one? So I've
Yeah.
become the thing in which I hate.
You've lived long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah,
I have become the villain.
did it.
Hey, Benny, when is the Comicstorian box going to be a thing? When every month are you going to
Yes.
put together a box that people can order just of your overflow?
Oh, my overflow.
and then you put in like Comicstorian merchandise in there, like here's a signed 8x10. You know, here's a pair of socks I'm not using anymore.
Man, if only I could own a pair of Benny socks. That said,
I was just imagining
When we went-
Benny
I have a
trying
new
to
shirt coming
part
out.
with things where
Nice.
he's just like, no, I don't need this. No, I do need this.
Well, no, because what ended up happening was a lot of things I buy. So, fun fact for people who want to get into YouTube: if you intend on putting anything on camera, so if you make it a set piece or something like that, it's technically a write-off. So, if you want to buy something and you want it to be a write-off, and technically you can't figure out a way of doing it, you make it a set piece. So we would buy a lot of things, turn them into set pieces so that it's a write-off. Well, then once we would rotate them out, because you can't have a cluttered hoard, like I'm a hoarder background,
Yeah.
they would just get put in a closet, and then we would find a way to sell them. Well, it just turned into I just hired a couple guys to help me out, and they sell everything and they handle the whole shop.
nice.
If you find us on eBay, I sign stuff too, because we named it Comicstorian, so some people realize it's me and they ask me to sign the comics.
That's really cool.
Okay,
Yeah.
so before we end this thing, I'm giving you guys
Pickle Rick?
5 minutes to talk about Pickle Rick.
Shit was dope. Shit was dope.
That's
It's
it?
really
That's all you
Well,
got?
okay, hold on. Well, because it's a heavy spoilers, it's only 2 days old. Like, can we
Sure.
talk
Yeah.
about Pickle Rick?
How about this? Talk about I loved using I statements. That don't hurt or harm anyone. The incredible fluid animation that we see in this episode. Not that the animation hasn't always been great, but it feels like they upped their A game.
they took it to
with
the
this
next
one.
level.
This episode, I think, is filled with not only amazing, like, fantastic action sequences, but there's also a lot of depth of character that we will hopefully see further explored as we go along.
They're really developing the relationship between Rick and his daughter this season, which I thought was really interesting because we didn't get that for the first two, and now we're kind of seeing how their relationship works and how it's kind of broken and fucked up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hope so anyway. I mean, like, I really want to see more. I want to see Beth and Rick actually go on an adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Haven't done
that'd be
that yet.
Side note, I just want to point out something. Everyone loved to comment that there was a switch in the background of my videos for about 3 months. That's why.
Nice.
Amazing.
Also, man, can we talk about Susan Sarandon getting a cameo on this show and also being on the new episode of Ray Donovan, both in the same night? That's pretty sick.
She did a great job, and I liked that they didn't really draw attention to her. They just let her like be that character, which was really fun.
Yep.
I liked a lot of it. Like the whole show is just excellent.
This episode, I think, is going to be one of those that, as we go through the rest of the season, this episode's going to, I think, grow in significance potentially. It was a strong, fun episode, but I think there are going to be points later on. At least I'm hoping that we see kind of grow, and we can go back and have that rewatchability. Be like, oh my god, if only we knew at the time.
What really got
I mean,
me...
they're building on the whole family dynamic and the psychiatrist and everything that's happening at that.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for Jaguar and his daughter to become another plot point. Because Pickle Rick in a firefight with Jaguar,
That's
the greatest moment ever when he's ripping a mustard packet on as like a cauterizer and then like stapling another pickle to himself.
It gave me this
so
like
sick.
feeling of like Die Hard.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Friggin' Trejo, man. Trejo's just good in everything.
Very
just
good.
stuff.
Yeah. That was incredible. I loved... For me, it's right in the opening where like Beth figures out what's going on immediately.
Yep.
Oh no, it was Morty. Morty figured out what was going on immediately.
Yeah.
Where he's like, "What's that syringe above you tied to that and a timer?"
Yep.
Or exactly
when we were gone.
It's nothing, filled with something completely unrelated. The therapy stuff was fun too, because if you listen to Roiland and Harmon on their podcast and in their interviews, they are very open about their own therapy sessions and their own views on psychiatrists. So it's fun to see Rick kind of become their avatar for that. I'm a genius. I destroy and create all the time.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
just a good, so far solid show. Solid season.
So far this season's been great. Looking forward to seeing where more of it's going. So if you haven't been watching Rick and Morty, go catch up.
Yeah,
Man.
catch up, man.
Now, here's the thing about the next episode, episode 4. This is the one that Harmon's been saying for about half a year now that he hated, and he felt it was the worst episode they've done. So I'm really interested to see if he was just overthinking it.
Is it an improv episode?
No, it's not actually. They kind of look to be riffing on Guardians of the Galaxy, like they meet a bunch of cool space pirates.
Right.
Yep.
That's right. I saw the preview for it. That looks pimp. I can't wait.
I'm excited.
I wonder why Harmon hated it so much.
Don't care.
I guess we'll find out.
I guess we will.
I mean,
Did you see too on, I don't know if it's on the Rick and Morty YouTube page or the Cartoon Network YouTube page, but like the cast and crew actually sit down and do almost little commentaries like this is what we were thinking about this episode.
no, I didn't see that.
I haven't seen that. No.
I think they realized how everyone is doing explained videos on their show anyway, so they're like, fuck it, let's get some of that for us.
Seriously.
No one
would
can
not
explain
doubt
it better than us.
I'm a little irritated that our friend over at Emergency Awesome right now is getting like 2 million views for explaining each episode of Game of Thrones. Like, why can't I fucking do that? Should I just go make Game of Thrones videos?
Apparently that is a job.
What?
Do you watch
That
it?
is a job, man.
I watch Game of Thrones, although I'm behind for this season.
Well, then that's why you can't do it.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say you only have.
hey guys, why don't I rename myself to Comicstorian Girl 19 and just do nothing with Game of Thrones stuff?
Hey, you know what, guys? This has been a really great show. We covered everything. We talked about comics and movies,
Fuck comic
and
book
TV,
cast.
and we also talked about Little Rick and Morty. You got a whole update about what's going on with the weekly pull and what's been going on with the status quo of it and how things are going to be remaining the same, and it's totally okay. And don't worry about change.
Let's get a little more personal. Fuck you, Armin.
I think that we are pretty much wrapping this show up. It's been a great show. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Thank you, Sal, Benny, Joel. Don't forget you can find
Oh,
us.
and fuck
Thank
Salvage 1009, whatever the fuck that guy's name was. He's a fucking moron.
And man, you know what? You guys can just find us over at our Twitters. They're respectively underneath us.
Piece
They're
of
Sal,
shit
Sal Says
wannabe
What.
YouTuber.
Benny at Comicstorian, Joel at Cape Joel, and myself at The Real Zoops. Don't forget to come back every Thursday over on the YouTube channel, The Weekly Poll.
Go
to
check
hang
out
out
my
with-
Twitter war with that little idiot.
Hang out with Joel and I as we talk about comics that came out this week, and come back every
Thursday.
Tuesday for the
Joel
Weekly
and
Poll,
Sal are eating popcorn.
where we will be talking about comic book news that came out this past week. That's pretty much it, guys. That's all we have, and we're closing this show out right now. Have a great one, and we'll see you guys next time.
For the record, guys, I've
Alan
been having
Scott.
a great time trying to